Great, thanks a lot.
I'm Peter Burnett. I'm part of the Keep Metro Public campaign, but I'm also standing as a candidate for a vacant seat on North Tyneside. The by-election has resulted from the fact that the Conservative Council for Preston Ward has recently won a mayoral election, so it leaves a vacant seat. So me standing around the issue of privatisation gives a small group of Tynesiders, the people who live in Preston Ward, the only chance that they've had in 12 months of expressing an opinion on this issue of privatising the Metro. Everything else has been shrouded in secrecy, commercial confidentiality. The people have been kept in the dark. They don't know what's going on. What's the reality? The reality is that the Metro, which is now an integrated service and one of the most efficient rail services in the world, is being broken up and sold off. Its operations being sold off to one or another of global corporations, including the State Railways of Germany, Serco, NED, a Dutch company who are in it to make a profit. They have a legal obligation to their shareholders to make a profit. Any fares that are negotiated with them by the Nexus, which will have a regulatory authority under the new arrangements, those fares will have to take into account the need to make a profit. We need to make a profit when we're attacking the working conditions of workers, jobs, pensions, and as well as bringing into the Tyneside rail network a lot of the problems that have plagued the rail networks across Britain. We know private enterprise doesn't work. When contractors like National Express or Great North East Railways can no longer fulfil the contract, it's the public that has to pay up, has to pick up the bill in a sense, and it becomes a charge on the taxpayer to keep that service going. We don't want that on Tyneside Metro. These companies that are moving in have other rail franchises in the UK. Looking at those, for instance, the Dutch company has a rail service at Merseyside. It owns Merseyrail. It operates Merseyrail. But you have, despite a profit on Merseyrail, an attack on the working conditions of the workers there. 15% job loss is what they're looking for. We can see the same thing happening on Tyneside. If privatisation goes through on the Metro, the people, the travelling public and the workers who work on the 750 workers that are working on the Metro system will lose out. Particularly at risk are the over 400 jobs in the operating section of the Metro, which goes into this new private arrangement, under private management. I am the only candidate standing in this by-election that has made anti-privatisation, whether the Metro, education academies, recreational land, a key issue. I'm the only candidate fighting against the privatisation of the Metro, the only candidate that points out that private enterprise does not equal efficiency, that private enterprise cannot compete for efficiency with an aware public, with democratic structures and public ownership, is the message that I'm putting forward. So people can have a vote. And it's the only vote that anybody has had in this whole this year-long campaign to privatise the Metro. It's almost a year to the day when 100 companies turned up on Tyneside in a huge beauty contest to express an interest in taking over our Metro. From that to now, when only 3 companies are in the race, the State Railway System of Germany, which is part privately owned, a Dutch firm, Serco NEC, and the in-house bid. Nobody knows anything about the in-house bid. It too has been shrouded in secrecy. My standing in this by-election gives the people the right to vote, gives the people the right to express an opinion on this against the 3 major parties, the Liberal Democrats, the Tories and Labour, are all in favour of this privatisation. They from time to time, they deny that it is privatisation. It's obviously privatisation. Private company takes over the running of the metro. Workers work for that private company. Travellers pay their fares to that private company. So, in fact, it's private. It's privatisation. The company's obliged to make a profit. I point these things out in the course of an election campaign. The campaign itself is generating enormous support at the doorsteps. Shops, every shop that's been approached to carry a poster in its windows has agreed. So at the moment, it's a highly popular campaign, but we couldn't give up the opportunity of actually, once the seat became vacant, in taking up a campaign against the privatisation of the metro. It's enormously popular to keep the metro in public hands. So that's why I'm standing in Preston ward, and I hope to maximise my vote on polling day, which is September the 24th.